Today on Toy Habits Reviews, we have the Masterverse Heroic Wing Warrior and his MOTU Classics counterpart on the examination table. And before we get into the review, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you can be alerted to the latest reviews, news, and episodes when they drop. Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Habits, and we are coming at you from our examination room. I'm Michael, and with me is my collector in crime, Larry, and today we are taking a detailed look at the Masters of the Universe Masterverse New Eternia Stratos and comparing him to his MOTU Classics figure, and Stratos comes packed in that New Eternia subline packaging.
The new Eternia here is it's almost like kind of less geared up than some of the other new Eternia figures. You know, he's got some of his gear on, but maybe not quite as much as like Beastman or something. You know?
Yeah, I like kind of that they packed him this way so you can kind of see what the figure looks like, and you know, of course, the art on the side of the box and the back of the box are really neat. He's kind of all geared up on the back of the box.
Yeah, I like that they've done both kind of both takes on him so you can kind of see both versions and kind of be able to appreciate both of them in the artwork.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, let's appreciate Stratos out of the box and let's crack him open and take a closer look at the figure. All right, now that we have Stratos out of the box, and just to note, if you've been on the site, the Battle Ram blog, which is an amazing historical Masters of the Universe site, you might have seen the concept art for Stratos, and this is where the New Eternia version is based from, and it shows him with the red feathers around his neck and his red fanny pack, and that's actually kind of cool because that's how he comes packed in the box.
You know, I really like that they're paying attention to all that stuff. I think it's cool that you can tell that they're fans of the MOTU history and just the all the different parts of it. You know, artwork and just all the different little details that they're catching and kind of including in the Masterverse line. I think is really cool.
Yeah, and that's basically what the New Eternia Masterverse figures are all about. So just to clear up some confusion, a lot of these figures are based on the concept art. So this is where all the extra little doodads come from.
Yeah, and it's so cool because like instead of doing the normal toy company thing and like, hey, here's your Macquarie concept stormtrooper, and then here's a regular stormtrooper, and you know you're getting like one release with here's this cool concept art version of Stratos or Beastman, Triclops, Trapjaw, whoever, but also within that same sculpt, same package, same money spent, you get kind of your vintage feel and look. And you can also mix and match all the stuff to kind of do your own thing with it if you want to. So I think it's really cool. It's crazy to me that they're doing it this way. I think it's awesome.
Yes, and it's definitely working because most of the time I do buy doubles of these figures just to do that exact same thing. But I'm not going to do it on this one because I think he looks great as is. But, you know, let's take a closer look at the details. All right, so let's take a look at Stratos from the top and work our way down. And very interesting head sculpt on Stratos. We have his helmet that has, you know, his classic crest, but the ends in a point in the back, which I think is a cool design concept.
Yeah, it is. In this kind of in this version, to me, it looks more like a helmet than like a kind of a fabric piece or something like that in some of the other versions. You know, this to me looks more like a almost like a harder helmet kind of piece.
Yeah, and I do like the blue and how it kind of carries over, you know, more towards kind of sweeping around the back of the neck or the back of the helmet here, which is really cool. And I think the eye design is really neat. There's actually a gray line here which kind of separates the blue from the black.
I was going to ask that, and so there's a gray at the top, but is the black like a glass look, like a glossy black?
It is, yeah. It's kind of cool because it does catch the light and it gives it an interesting look.
Yeah, they almost have like an alien-like eye appearance, right?
Yeah.
They almost kind of, and they're not kind of the standard alien eye shape, I don't think, but somehow they come across as very alien to me.
Yeah, I think it's definitely cool, and I actually really like the shape of his goatee or fur that he has around his beard. It kind of gives him a more angular look instead of like kind of a stumpy jaw.
Yep, man. If see, that's what I'm going for with the beard right there. I don't mean to break away from the review, but if I could get that shape to my beard, I would be so happy.
It's
So
all
whatever
related.
whatever stylist or barber he's going to, I got to
Yeah.
get the guy's name.
It's probably the same in the same shopping center where Roboto got his shoes. So
Ah, yeah, probably. I don't think I'm gonna be able to go there.
no. And from the new Eternia concept art, we see his feathers around the neck, which just it gives him a very different look than the previous Stratos figures.
It does. I'm still undecided on that collar piece. I think it's for me, it's probably going to be one I'm gonna have to get it in person and put it on the shelf and give it a couple days to see if I can get used to it. I don't know if I'll keep it on or not. What are your thoughts? Do you
I
know?
think I think I might keep it on just because it's so different. I don't know about the other accessories that he came with, whether I'll keep those on or not, but I think I will keep it on for a bit and just see how he looks. And I guess maybe when we dress him down for the classics comparison, I might change my mind.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, and sometimes for me, I'll get something like this in hand, and I think, I'm just not sold. It looks a little bit, just a little bit too different to me, and then I
Yeah.
take it off, and I get the figure put up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put that back on because I actually do like it now that I taken it off.
Yeah, and actually we can pop it off right now because I actually want to get a look at the kind of the
Oh yeah.
jet harness piece in a little more detail, so we can move on to that. And it's a more intricately designed harness than I've ever seen Stratos have before. Usually, it's just kind of two straps with some feathers on it.
Yeah, and again here they've got the little details captured. You've got kind of those like straps and buckles kind of sculpted in, but also kind of the feathers and things added into the
Yeah.
into the design, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's great too. And I guess while we're down here, his fanny pack piece or his you know mask, the part that hooks into his mask, hooks on to the back here, which I think is really cool. I think the little design choices that they did for this figure are really cool.
Um, to me, they're not obtrusive. They don't take away from the sculpt. They don't. It's not like it looks out of place. It all looks pretty natural with Stratos' overall design. So I think
Yeah.
it's cool. But it also, it's not gonna make him look weird if you take those things off of him either. So
No, and I guess we typically save some of the accessory parts for later, but I did want to show you the jetpack that he has, and just again, just a lot more intricate design to this jetpack, and it looks really neat.
yeah, it does. It's cool. It looks like something we could have seen in classics or even in the vintage line, but I think it does have more detail than probably what we would have gotten before. And I think it looks pretty cool.
It does. Just a note, it is a different color blue than his harness, so I'm not sure how well that shows up on camera, but it looks like you just hook in the parts to the back, and yeah, it just kind of hooks in back there, and we'll get a closer look at it in more detail when we gear him up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because I know some of the like 2000X he had really pronounced. I don't know what those top pieces would be. Kind of blanking right now, but they
Oh,
kind of
here we go.
stuck up higher where you saw him coming up over his back,
Uh-huh.
whereas this is a lot less pronounced. So I don't know.
Yeah, and actually, it looks like too. There are little knobs here, so I think if you can also hook in this red piece to his jetpack too. It looks like.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool kind of extra way to be able to kind of switch it around. You can kind of do a lot of different design kind of modifications with it.
Yeah, and I guess while we're gearing him up, let's bring in his little oxygen mask or his flight mask, and this is a piece that it's a singular piece. It doesn't have a strap that comes apart at the back here, so it looks like it just slips over his head, and this little plug plugs into his pack in the front of his body here.
See, and I feel kind of bad because I feel like you usually save these accessories to kind of cover on their own, but I always stop you and interrupt and ask questions as we're going through, and so now you got to cover them in the middle of the thing. So
That's all
sorry
right.
to have
This is fun.
messed with your flow at all, but yeah, I think again with the mask, I don't know what I think of it. I think it's cool. just like I guess I feel the same as kind of like I feel about Beastman. Like I really like a lot of the stuff that they've done to Beastman for New Eternia. Um, but I kind of on my shelf I kind of just want the standard version.
Hmm.
But I do think that this is a really awesome kind of just different take on Stratos, and I think it still feels very much like it fits with the character,
Yeah.
and I think it looks good. So
Oh yeah, I think it looks great, and yeah, I think I wasn't actually really sure what I thought about the mask until I slipped it on, but I actually think it looks really neat. It just gives him a totally different look, and I think that's what we've been wanting from a Stratos figure. Is like I think every Stratos figure looks pretty much the same over the years, but this one looks really different.
yeah, yeah, he does, and which is funny because he's such a kind of a basic character, right? Like he doesn't have a lot to him. That I mean, he's basically like a hairy winged dude. I mean, he's gray and a little bit of blue and red, and
Right?
that's it. He's usually doesn't have any like there's just not a lot to him normally.
Yeah.
So it's funny that this one feels so much different, I guess.
Yeah, it does, and yeah, the wing design is interesting, and so I'm actually just noticing this. So the bottom part of the wing doesn't have that black wash on like the top of the wing, but if you actually look underneath the hood, the wings actually do separate and come apart in two places. So you could conceivably just have this part,
Just the lower part.
yeah, just the lower part or the upper part, maybe if it'll stay up by itself. So I think that's kind of a cool design there.
So so the thing I'm wondering is if yeah, if you could just have just the upper parts or just the lower parts, and could you swap them and maybe do the upper part as kind of around the wrist?
Oh yeah, maybe.
You know, just something. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look like it would necessarily
Yeah,
maybe look quite right, but
yeah, the top might be it's not going to cinch down around like it
yeah,
does on the
kind of
bicep,
flop
and
around.
so yeah, you're just going to have something that just kind of flops around. But it's an interesting design choice. I actually didn't realize that it came apart in both places, so I think it's cool. But yeah, you can see the black washing on the upper feathers, and so yeah, I guess it gives it a different look if you wanted to just ditch the upper feathers and just have him with the lower feathers.
Yeah, I think it's cool once again to be able to offer different options for him. If kind of depending on how you're going to use them, what you think of the kind of the different styles. I think it's cool to be able to switch them around.
Yeah, totally. And actually, I love that they gave him a feathered loincloth instead of his classic furry loincloth because it just gives him, it kind of just goes along with the motif of Stratos and like he needs more feathers.
Yeah. And but also the cool thing here is that it still feels very natural. It
Yeah.
doesn't look like when you look at him, for me anyways, I don't look at him and go, "Oh, what do they do different with the loincloth?" Like
Mhm.
it still looks very natural. It doesn't seem out of place. But it does very much fit the character, so it's
Oh,
cool.
yeah, it totally does. And, he's got his hairy legs that are all just one color. And I actually love that they gave him feet and toes, which is great.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's cool. It's we usually just see him in like very basic shoes or
Yep.
or some kind of like slip over thing that just hides all shape of any foot. I don't know, but yeah, it's cool to see kind of actual features of his feet there and some toes. And can you pan up because can we look at the belt some more?
Yeah.
Just because I just think that's I'd noticed that it's like a gold color, and it actually looks kind of cool there, kind of with the kind of the silver of
Oh, yeah.
his fur or hair, and then the blue. So
Yeah, no, yeah, I think they did a great job with all of the colors on here, and I think
mm,
it's definitely a different look to Stratos, and yeah, this all the color combinations look really neat. And I guess while we are at it and kind of moving along with the accessories, he does come with a couple extra hands, and so it kind of you put those on, you can kind of make it look like he is flying, kind of. So I think that's pretty cool.
and get the old kind of like Superman up and away kind of thing going.
Yeah, because I think I have two figure stands that are for like flight poses, and so I think I'll throw him uh, in one of those. And I think one of the cooler accessories that he comes with is his scepter of Avion.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's really cool. I really like how this turned out. I've always thought that the kind of the staff of Avion that they usually use is cool, but I like that this is the shortened. version. I think it looks a lot more. Maybe it doesn't look as regal as what they've done in the past, as far as it being kind of like a staff for like their people or whatever. But I still think this has a really cool look to it for sure.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I think the staffs before have had this similar shape to it, so I
Yep.
think that I like that they added that design in here because it pays homage to the previous versions of his staff. So, yeah, definitely love the colors, and I love the green. It's kind of like a, I don't know if iridescent's the right color, but yeah, it just looks really neat.
It definitely pops against the gold, and I think it's cool that it really looks like a stone that's held in there by talons. I think that's another really cool aspect of it.
Oh, definitely. All right, so let's dress Stratos down. We're gonna keep it PG-13, and we'll take a look at his classics figure next to him. All right, now that we have dressed down Stratos, and just to get him more closely resembling his classics look, we have his Masters of the Universe classics figure on the left, and you can really see the similarities and differences here. They kind of really stand out now.
Yeah, they do. It's funny the little things that they've done to kind of keep the same feel, but also changed them up quite a bit. If you really start looking at things.
Yeah, definitely a lighter skin tone on Stratos, and I'm kind of digging the beefier feathers on the Masterverse figure.
Yeah, yeah, I think they look cool. They definitely look more natural, and I think the fact that there are two different pieces makes it to where it can lay across like his forearm and
Mm-hmm.
his upper arm as well. So I think that's a cool element to it being two different pieces. I guess I have a little bit of concern that over time, those kind of get to where they're like spinning around too much or whatever, but
Yeah,
hopefully not.
yeah, hopefully not. And just looking at the jetpacks are interesting because the classics one is a lot larger than the Masterverse one. Like everything just seems a little bit more compact on the Masterverse side than the classic side, which is weird because the Masterverse figure is just much more massive.
Yeah, and I guess that's something that I was like what I was talking about before, where the kind of the top of the jetpack sticks out over his shoulders on the
Yeah,
classic, and I don't know, I kind of think I like that, but I don't know. It doesn't bother me that it's not there. I guess maybe I would like to see that be a little bit bigger as far as the jetpack goes, but I still think it looks cool.
yeah. I think I agree with you. I think it'd be interesting to see that peek up, off of the Masterverse figure. But yeah, I mean, very very similar design to the head sculpt, and I think you can kind of see where the more angular beard design is coming in here.
Yep. Yeah. No. I definitely like the head sculpt a lot. I think it's cool. It's got a I really like how everything came out, and I think that just a lot of the different details of him. I don't know if I like the lighter gray yet. I think that it's just something to kind of just try to get used to.
Yeah.
After you get him in hand and kind of look at him, and I mean that's the way he looks. So
Yep.
so unless you're comparing them side by side, maybe I won't even notice.
Yeah, you probably won't.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's the shoe design in the classics figure versus the toes that they put on here. It just looks a lot more natural.
It does, and also kind of the way his I keep going back and forth between fur and hair,
Yeah.
but kind of the way that his hair lays, it looks more natural on the Masterverse figure than it did on the classics. I don't know, it's got a different kind of a weird that kind of weird ripple look to it, like his calves and stuff on the
Yeah.
classics. I don't know,
It's
it's just
almost
just another difference.
Yeah, it's almost too feathered on the classics version.
Yeah, yeah, somehow yeah, just parts of it are just a little odd. So
Yeah. So, yeah, actually, let's take off those wings, for the last part and check those out because I'm very interested to see what his look will look like. All right, so here is just the middle step in just taking those two wing pieces apart. So you do have to take off his hand and then these two wing pieces hook together like so they can come out here. And then just to get this back on, you just put this over his wrist and you just pop his hand back on and he should be good to go. And yeah, this is what he looks like, just with one little dinky forearm wing compared to his left arm, which has the full Monte.
I can't decide which I like better. I think I definitely, again, I really appreciate different display options. So I think it's cool that it's two pieces. And I don't know, I don't know. I may just like that, just that using that lower piece. I think it's kind of cool. It doesn't stand out quite as much, which I kind of like. So I'm not sure which way I'll go, but I
Yeah,
think it's cool either way.
I kind of like it now, and yeah, and like to your point about display options, like there's a lot of ways that you can display this figure. So I think did we sell you on getting this figure, Larry?
Oh yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, Masterverse is tough for me. It's not that I don't want to collect the whole line. For me, it's just a budget thing. I mean,
Yeah.
between Origins and the CGI toys, and then of course Classified that I've somehow gotten sucked back into. Thank you, Michael. Uh,
Sorry, not sorry.
um, but I think this was one that I did feel like was a figure that looked good to me anyway. But I think in kind of looking over the details and kind of the different display options and stuff, I really like the direction they've taken with him. So yeah, I think this will be one I'll add to the shelf.
Awesome. All right. Well, that wraps up our review of the Masterverse and New Eternia Stratos. So let us know what you think about the figure in the comments below. I'm Michael,
And I'm Larry.
and thanks for dropping into the Toy Habits examination room.